Assalamu alaikum. Respected guests and dear colleagues, it is a privilege to be with this group of friends and supporters for our cause. And I'm thinking back to 1999 when we started the organization in Pakistan, and it's kind of interesting to note that Mr. Hassan Iqbal was with us that day also on the inaugural. He was one of the speakers, so at least we have stayed intellectually aligned ever since that time. Since that time, we have tried our best to work in the area that we had chosen, and I will share some of that with you later on. But at this point in time, I kind of want to give you some of the underpinnings and the thoughts that led to the development of this organization by means of introduction. I won't go into the details of what we do. Hopefully the literature that's been given to you will be there, because it's not so much of what we have done, but what we need to do that we want to talk about today. So if I can have my first slide. So I'm going to take you back to the world of Sufis, to a story that's been around for centuries. This is the story of the journey of a stream. This stream starts high in the mountains, and it makes its journey towards the ocean. During this course, it comes across terrains of different types, rocks and cliffs, mountains, clay. It cuts through some of those, and it goes around others and continues its journey towards the ocean, which is its destiny, till it reaches the desert. And once it gets to the desert, it realizes that it suddenly cannot continue anymore, because it keeps getting absorbed in the sand and keeps turning into a marsh. At this point in time, an internal debate goes on in the stream's mind as about how to cross the desert. And it hears a voice in the wind that says, the wind can cross the desert, and so can the stream. The stream protests that no, that is not my way. I always make my way cutting through or going around my objects. But as hard as it may try, it is unable to make any progress. Till it recalls that before it became a stream, it was moisture in the air that moved in the form of clouds that rained on the mountains, and it became a stream. And once the stream realized that it is the essence that matters, it was able to give itself up to the wind and fly over the desert to the ocean. So if I can go to the next slide, please. So ladies and gentlemen, if you look at the history of Pakistan, it is very similar to the history of the journey of this stream. The movement for a homeland for the Muslims started with lofty dreams and ideals that were probably taller than the mountains in which the stream took its origin. It met the challenges of one of the mightiest empires of the time and some of the most charismatic politicians of that time. And it cut through some of them, and it went around others till Pakistan came into being in 1947. And that is when we hit the desert. And for the last 60 years, we've been in that desert looking for our essence. Even though 3 days before the country came into being, the founder had clearly stated in his address to the Constituent Assembly on 11th of August, 47, that if we want to make this country happy and prosperous, we must concentrate wholly and solely on the well-being of its people, and especially the poor. But 60 years after the creation of the country, let us see what the desert is like. Let us look at the fate of 1,000 children that will be born today. There actually will be tens of thousands, but let's just take 1,000 of them. And let's follow their natural history over the next 20 years based on today's social indicators as to what will happen to them. Out of those 1,000 children, only 928 will live to see 1 year. 72 will die in the first year of their life. Another 17 will die in the next 4 years. So 911 will make it to 5 years. Out of them, 600 will enroll in primary school and 310 will never go to school. Out of the 601, about 550 will complete primary school and another 55 will drop out or fail to complete 5th grade. 291 will enroll in secondary school. 146 will pass their matric out of the 1,000 that are being born today if the current state persists. And 46 of them will end up going to college. So if you look at the fate of these 1,000 children being born today based on what we have done to this country, and I'm saying we because we are part of this 46 who happen to have the knowledge, and so we must take responsibility, then basically 950 of them are at risk of failure. And in a society where 950 people out of 1,000 are at risk of failure cannot be a successful society. So these were the thoughts that led us, or some of us, to start this organization, realizing that our resources are very limited and we really cannot change the whole country, realizing that what we will do, as Mother Teresa said, will but be a drop in the ocean. But we thought at least we have to do our part. And so what we are trying to do is, next please,